Good evening, wherever you're watching. Welcome to Real Talk, where is interacting and transforming. On this episode, we are going to be looking at the topic how to manage your finance. And in the studio, we have a co-host who will be looking at this topic how to manage our finance. And we have some financial experts in the house. Pastor Samuel Idowu is a financial expert. Mr. Oluwalere is also a financial expert. So they're going to enlighten us the expert way. This is their own line of expertise to tell us how we can manage our finance. In the studio, we have Pastor Samuel Idowu. Pastor Sam?
Good evening, ma'am. And good evening, co-hosts. Good evening, everybody. You are welcome. God bless you.
We also have Miss Oluwafemi Oluwale.
Good evening, viewers. Good evening to everyone. Happy weekend. Thank you.
Yeah. And also with us is Dr. Femi Samuel.
Good evening, viewers and our co. Hope we are having a good and calm weekend.
Yeah. Good evening, all. Welcome to the show once again. And to our viewers, you're watching live, #live. You're watching replay, #replay. If you are able to see, please share the video, like the video. Like, people are complaining they want to see the show, and they get on the page, they don't get to see the show when it's live. We don't understand Facebook algorithm again. You're having a show live on your page and people can't find the live show on your page. So please, the way we can help other people to see this show is by liking, sharing, and making comments on it. So also feel free to type your question on the chat box as we go on the show. So looking at the topic, managing your finance. So to start with, our finance has to do with our resources and our expenses. So how do we treat our expenses? How do we treat our expenses? Should we embrace our expenses? Should we see it as something that we can avoid? So I'm going to start with Mr. Oluwalere.
Good evening, viewers. If I may get the questions correctly, you ask how we treat our expenses, right?
Yeah.
Is that the question? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
How do we treat expenses? As a wise investor, at every given point in time, if you want to maximize your profit, you must try as much as possible to minimize your expenses. Because the more your expenses, the less the profit you make. And vice versa, the less your expenses, the more profit you make. And the question is, how do you treat your expenses? You ensure that you keep your expenses at a barest minimum level so as to enable you maximize your profits. So as an investor, if you try to maximize your expense, definitely you will be left with little or nothing as the profit. So at every given point in time, you ensure you try as much as possible to bring your expenses to a BRS minimum level. So how do you treat it? You treat it by way of ensuring you become a little bit thrifty. You are conscious of whatever you gather as an expenses. Because the more you keep it to the BRS minimum level, the more profit you maximize. So as a wise investor, always ensure you keep your expenses at a BRS minimum level. There are some expenses that you don't really need. So whatever time you are investing, you try as much as possible to keep it to the BRS minimum level so as to maximize your profit at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We should minimize our expenses and keep the expenses at the barest minimum. Very good. I'm going to Pastor Samuel. Do we have control or can we determine our income? Because basically the finance is our income is a bedrock of all finance. So do we have control or can we determine our income? Pastor Samuel.
Yes. Thank you very much, ma'am. Do we have control to determine our income? Yes, we can determine our income because let me say as a salary earner, of course you know what you are earning, and what you are earning is your income. So if you know what you are earning, at the end of the month you are paid and you get a pay slip. Of course, you know what you are earning. So by so doing, you can determine your income. You know what your income is. You know what your income is, and as a business person, if you do any business in the course of the week or in the course of the month, you know what comes to you, and you know the gross of what comes to you, and you know the net of what you have realized. Yes, you can determine your income. You can know what is coming to you at every given point in time. So it is possible for us to determine our income. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Samuel, we are advised by the experts not to spend all our income. But what about when everything you earn is not even sufficient to pay the bills? How do you handle that situation? You know this is not your field. But the truth of the matter is that even if we are not all financial experts, we are all involved in
Thank you. The truth about life is that human wants is insatiable. No matter how much you earn, you will never be able to satisfy your wants. So you have to create a scale of preference. And if you are spending more than what you are earning, then you are going to live a negative life. Negative in the sense that you will always continue to borrow. And you will not be being in debt. If 1,000 naira is not enough for you to spend in a month, now that will obviously not be enough for you. So even if your income is not enough, still form the habit of keeping some apart, saving some. Because if now that is not enough, 1,000 will surely not be enough. So you should make the habit of keeping something apart, saving for the rainy day. So if you are in the habit of spending everything you earn, you will never live a negative life. So no matter how small your earnings are, try to save some. If you say because you don't want to be hungry at all, and you eat all your seed, there will be none to plant for the next season, planting season. So you still have to save some seed to plant for the next planting season. The same thing is about income. There's no amount of money that will be enough for you to be satisfied. Even if you are using 50 million naira today, you still notice that some responsibility will come up that will take care of that money. And at the end, the money you won't have excess. So you just have to make up your mind not to spend more than what you earn. Not to even spend exactly what you earn. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Oluwalere, sir, what is your advice about living on credit?
Come again. I didn't get you, sir. I didn't get you, man.
Your advice about living on credit. Living on credit. Your advice to people about living on credit, borrowing, getting loans.
The line.
What's your advice about loan, credits, using credit card, borrowing money to meet end?
As a wise investor, I think the question is, what is my advice on living on borrowing?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
The lines are breaking, but if I may get you clearly, that what is my advice on living on borrowing? A borrower is always a slave to the lender. I think you get that one clearly. If you are a borrower,
yes,
you are a slave to your lender. One of the problems that have kept Nigeria, one of the problems that have kept Nigeria on this level we are today is because of the fact that we live on borrowed funds. Remember, your lender will always control you. They will always control your economy. So if you are borrowing, your lender are the one who will dictate to you what to do, what and not to do. So it's always very, very good and wise to, at least if it is possible, to live without borrowing. But if you are to live on borrowed funds, then know that your life is tailored towards your lender. Today, most of the money we borrow from abroad, they tell you what to do, they tell you what not to do. So they
okay, I think his line is out of service. Can we continue with that, Pastor Samuel? Pastor Samuel?
Right. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, let me just continue from where it stops. That a borrower is a slave to a lender. Yes, you see, when you borrow, you find out that whether you like it or not, you are under obligation to pay back
to your lender. Thank you.
Hello.
We can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Do you want me to continue?
Yes, please.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, as he has rightly said, when you borrow, you are under obligation to pay back, and in the course of paying back, to borrow money is easier than to pay back. It is not easy to pay back when you borrow. It's always good. It's always sweet when you want to borrow, but when you are paying back, it's not easy. So it is better if you can live without borrowing. If you can live, live without borrowed funds, then it is okay. But at times you find out that when you have a project, there are some projects that you might not be able to do. You might not be able to do with your fund if you don't borrow. That's just the truth about it. You see, there are some projects that you might not be able to do without borrowing. But when you borrow, you just try as much as possible to use the borrowed fund for what it's meant for. When we look at these big multinationals, these big companies and all that, we look at productions and big companies that produces. You see, so you find out that there are some things that they might not be able to do on their own until they get a facility from the bank. Borrowing, getting a facility, it is not totally wrong. It is not totally wrong, but you just need to know that when you are borrowing, you have to use it for what is meant for, what you're borrowing for, because you will have to pay back. You're under obligation to pay back. But if you borrow, say for instance, you borrow funds for business and you use it to buy a car, the car will not bring in income for you. The car will always take from you. The car is going to be like an expense because you buy for you service and all that. You see, by the time you are paying back, nothing is coming in. Rather, the fund is going out. So borrowed fund is not totally wrong when it is used for what it's meant for. But when you borrowed fund and you do not use it for what is going to bring profit, what will make you to pay back and of course bring profit, that's where the problem lies. But it's not totally wrong to borrow. It is not totally wrong. But you just need to use it for what it's meant for. Thank you very much, man.
Okay, sir. So we are still going to stay with you. How do one manage overspending, compulsive spending, and impulsive buying?
I didn't get you.
How do one manage compulsive spending, overspending, and impulsive buying?
Well, I don't think I get the question, but I think I got how do you manage compulsory spending? Is that what you're saying, man?
Overspending,
compulsive spending, overspending, and
okay. Anyway, you're breaking, but let me just take it. Let me just take it. Overspending, and you see, if you have if you don't want to overspend, you need to have a budget. You need to have a budget. You need to draw a budget in such a way that it will not be more than your spending will not be more than your income. If you have a budget that you have a budget that at the end of the month, if take for instance you're a salary earner and you are earning 200,000 at the end of the month, what you're supposed to do is for you to draw a budget that between the 1st and the 30th of the month, this is what I want to do. This is the amount I'm going to spend. I'm not going to spend more than 100,000 out of my 200,000 that I had. You see, if you have that, if you draw a budget before you start spending, then you find out that you will not overspend. Because whatever it is not in that budget, you push it to the next month. If you can draw a budget and you know that, whatever I do not put down in this budget of what I'm going to spend in this month, then you push it to the next month, you put it in the next month budget. If you can do that, then you will find out that you will not overspend and you will not spend what you are not meant to spend because you have a budget already. You've drawn a budget, you have a cash flow. This is what I'm expecting, this is what I can this is what I can spend for what I'm earning. So if you have that, you work with the budget, you tailor your spending with the budget that you have on ground, then you will not overspend. You will not overspend. And if there's anything that is so important that you know, this thing I have to do it, you can either you push it to the next month you push it to the next budget month, or you put, or you replace it with one of the things that you have on ground. If you can have budget at the end of, before you start your spending, then you don't overspend. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much. Dr. Samuel, can you help us address impulsive buying? Impulsive buying. How can one control that?
Thank you very much. We have people that have problems with the impulsive buyer. They buy things on impulse. You see things, you are not even sure you need it. You've not thought it through if you really want to buy it, because others are buying it and you're also buying it. That is common among people, even people that are civil servants. They bring something to your office, you don't even thought it through, just say, let me buy. Impulsive buying. It's one of the problems that have wage war against finances in men. Just like Pastor Sam Idowu have said, the first thing is budget. You have budget. And when it comes to budget, it's not budgeting for the month, budgeting for the day. Budgeting for the day in the sense that I know of one of a colleague, a senior colleague, he doesn't come to hospital with money. You know why? Because people bring things to the hospital. They will tell you things, we are saying things, and they want you to buy. Apart from that, there are some people that they meet you maybe in the canteen, in the kiosk, they want you to buy drinks for them also. So it doesn't come with money or ask you for money. So the money, if he needs money, he will look for a way to get that money in the hospital. But to come to the hospital with cash, he doesn't do that. He stays close to the hospital. His house is close, not far from the hospital. So he doesn't need money for 3 minutes or 5 minutes drive. If he's going to buy fuel, he knows he's going to buy fuel in his car. He will have to carry money and buy fuel 5,000 naira for today. So if you know that you are the type that impulsive spender, in which you just find yourself buying things, because someone said that if you keep buying things you don't need, you start selling things that you need. And it's a big problem when you do things on impulse. Anything you need to do, you don't even know if you need it or not. You just want to buy, just because other people are buying it. But the only way to control it, not to have fund in you. Budget for the fund you want to spend per day. Some can keep money in their pocket for 1 month without touching it. Whereas others, as long as that money is in their pocket, they will spend it. I have colleagues that when they go to ATM, they collect just the money they need. At that point in time, they won't collect extra. Because if you have extra cash, instead of you to collect 5,000, you're collecting 20,000, you will spend it because you are seeing money. So when you know that you have problem with impulsive buying, what you should do is that avoid carrying money that you don't need. Make proper budget when going out. What do I need? Okay, I will need this and this and this. Do I need any money for exigencies on plan budget? Yes. Carry some small amount of money that you can spare, but not carry large amount of money about, because some people can't just control the way they make their but the way they make their expenses. They just have to buy. So make proper budget and make sure that you don't go away with money that you don't need. If you can do that, it will go a long way to curb unnecessary spending, because there is no way unnecessary spending will surely ruin your finances. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Brad. So, Mr. Lualere, how can one save when what you earn is not even enough?
Thank you very much, ma. How can one save when what you earn is not always enough?
Yes, you can save.
Let me tell you, in Nigeria today, no matter the amount you get, can never be enough for you. That's why you see a salary earner, when they increase their salary today, after the first or second month, you see them complaining again. So let that be registered in your mind that no matter the amount they give you, money will always be willing for it to be spent. You will always have one thing or the other to spend money on. So you have that at the back of your mind, knowing fully well that no matter the amount you have will not be always enough for you to spend. Then that means you have to be financially prudent when it comes to spending of money. There are many things one can do away with. You discover most of us, we are not rational in what we buy. There are some things we don't really need, but because the money is there, you want to buy it. So what you can only do, because you know that no amount you will have that can be enough for you, it is always important and it's always very necessary to make sure you buy those things that you know are very, very important. Things you know you cannot do without. There are some things you can do away with. So arrange whatever you want to buy on the order of preference. Remember what Dr. Femi Samuel said just now, that no matter the amount, it will not always be enough for you. So arrange whatever you want to buy on a scale of preference. There are some things that are not really important. There are some things that are not even necessary. Today, you see some people will tell you if you go to them, they can't give you one kobo. But let them take you to beer parlor. They can spend as much as possible. Some can even spend half of their salary. All those things are not important. So arrange whatsoever you need in the order of importance. There are some things that are not really important. So shed those ones off. Concentrate on those basic needs. Or else if you want to have more than your source of income, then it means, how do you finance the balance? It means you have to always be borrowing. And remember I told you, you are always a slave to whoever borrows you money, because they will control you, they control your life. So always ensure you limit yourself to those things that you know are always very important. And mark you, no amount of money you get that can be enough for you. So always invite the attitude that no matter the amount you get, give a percentage on how much you will spend at a given time. Make it absolutely important that even if it is 10%, no matter the amount, that 10% must go to savings. If you go to all these market women today, if you hear what some of them are saving, you will be shocked. I was listening to Jimmy in this radio 99.3, and I was asking a woman, he said, how much are you getting? He said her salary is 25,000. I think she's a cleaner. And they said, how much do you save? I was shocked when she told us she saves 20,000. But can I tell you, there are some people whose salary is times 20 that, and they can't save 5,000 at the end of every month. So mark you, even if you earn 2 million in a month, it will not be enough for you. Not until you inculcate the habit of saving. Not until you inculcate the habit of at least minimize what to spend money on. Not until you inculcate the habit of having the scale of preference and do away with some things that are not really necessary. Or else you will continue to borrow and borrow. And mark you, there is no amount that you hold, particularly in Nigeria of today, it won't get to anywhere. I was with somebody just a week ago, and it was as if he read my mind. As we were going, he said, brother, do you know there's no amount I withdraw that will not be enough for me. And I will be assuming as if I've lost money. And by the time I pick my Bible and start writing down what I spend money on, and I discover I've not lost anything. That is the situation in the country. So you must always be prudent in your spending. There are some things that are not necessary. Do away with it. And no matter the situations, imbibe the habit. Even if it is 5%, even if it is 10%, at the end of every month, always remove it first. Maybe you give a transfer instructions that anytime a salary comes in, so percentage must be taken away, and then leave between the little amount that is left, or else you will end yourself being bankrupt. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Pastor Samuel, considering the inflation rates now, sometimes saving money can be, because by the time you save your money, the next 1 month, that money cannot buy the same thing you bought last month. And even our bank system are not even helping. You're running a savings account. By the time you need your money, you will not get that amount of money again. Whatever you're getting is less than, and you are running a savings account. So what's your advice on investment and multiple stream of income? So when you have so much bills to pay, will you leave your bills and start investing? How do we handle that?
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am. If you really want to make impact, or you really want to I'm trying to think of the right word to use. If you see the investments, if you cannot, because of the way the country is, what streams of hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
your line
Hello?
is breaking. Yeah, you're back now. The line was breaking.
Okay.
We cannot hear you again. Mr. Oluwalere, can you hear Pastor Samuel? I can't hear him. I don't know if it's from my hand.
I didn't get him
Can you hear
at
him?
all. I can't.
Can you hear him?
No,
Okay,
no.
can you continue from where it stopped?
Can you please give me
Okay,
the question
investing.
again?
How do we treat invest? The question is that how do we invest when the bills are piling up and you still want to increase, you want to involve in streams and multiple streams of income, and you have bills to settle? So how do one manage that?
Thank you very much.
No concern.
You have this, the implications of having bills to settle is that what you have as income is less than what you want to give out. So since it automatically means you are a debtor, and since you have appreciated the fact that you are a debtor, it means you have to arrange maybe the actual amount you will have to pay, maybe on a monthly basis. If it is 10% you budget to pay at the end of the month, let's be limited to that 10%. And what that means is that the remaining one, there must be a percentage of that income that if you don't want to save because of the inflation rate, then you can use it maybe to at least create a kind of investment. There are some people who go into buy foodstuffs and resell. There are some people who go into series of things to sell and make little profits. So what that means is that since you know your income is not enough to settle your liabilities, then determine a certain percentage of your income that you will put on settling debts. If, for example, you are earning 100,000 and you are owing maybe 80,000, or maybe you are owing 120, on a monthly basis, if it is 10% of that 100,000 that you want to be setting aside for settling your debt, let it be limited to that 10%. Deduct the 10%, use it for settling your debt. Then the amount, if it is 20% you want to be using in recreating investment that will generate income, plus back that 10% or 20% into that investment, and on like that. Because if you say you want to settle your debt at the end of the day without necessarily considering every other things, then it means you will put yourself in a difficult position. So the right thing to do is, if a certain percentage, meet your creditor, tell them, okay, I know I'm owing you so amount, but this is what I'll be paying on a monthly basis. And once you get your amount, once you get your salary or whatever income, let it be that percentage that you have made provision for that will go into settling debts, or else you'll be left with nothing. You can't get 100,000 and say you want to settle a debt of 120,000. It's not possible. So let that be a percentage. You are getting 100,000, maybe you set 20% for settling debt. That means 20% of that 100,000 will go to settling debts. And by the time you pay that, the debt will have been reduced. You can't pay everything at once. So there must be a certain percentage that you will plug into investment to generate maybe some little stream of income for you. And I think that's the wisest decision you can take in this scenario. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me, please?
I'm hearing you clearly.
Okay. Yes, it's like it's frozen here. So I can hear you. So, yeah. Dr. Samuel, thank you very much, sir, for that. Dr. Samuel, are you there?
It's muted.
Okay. My question to you is that, should we plan on our resources, on our income, or on our needs? What should the plan or the budget be? Should it be on the resources or on our needs? What should we plan on?
We plan on our resources, not on our need. Because human need is insatiable. You can't satisfy everything. You can't satisfy yourself when it comes to providing for your needs, or you plan on your resources. If my resources is 50,000 naira, I should plan on it and not be planning on my needs. Once you sorry, am I audible?
Yes,
I don't know
it's
if I'm
breaking.
audible.
Yeah, we can hear you, sir.
What people do is to buy things. What people do is to buy things they don't need with the money they don't have to impress people that they don't like. So, hello, am I audible?
Yes, please. We can hear you, sir.
Hope I'm audible.
Yes, loud and clear.
Hello?
Yes, you're loud and clear. We can hear you clearly.
So, as much as possible, you plan on your need, on your resources, not on your need. Because your need, you can't satisfy it. My need may be to spend this holiday in UK, planning for a summer holiday. If I have money for summer holiday, so I have to plan on what I need. So we should just be very careful so that we'll not be living for someone else. Because most of the time, we live for someone else. You look for money because you think you need a car and you want a car. You go and buy a car. You look for money to buy a car that you don't want. and you be living a fake life, thinking you are satisfying someone else. So as much as possible, plan on your need. I mean, plan on your resources, not on your need. Thank you. Sorry, I'm trying to get some people back on stage. So many people are backstage.
Okay.
Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Mama
sir.
T.
It wasn't here, so I don't know what is happening, but I can see here everybody clearly. So, yeah. So, who is on now? Is Mr. Oluwalere on now?
I'm on. Yeah.
Okay. So, I wanted to look at this. Some people lowest moment is when their salary or income arrives. They become emotionally down because the income cannot take care of all the outstanding bills. How do we do that? When the salary comes, you are down because this 50,000 naira, you have 150, and you even be afraid to spend the money.
Thank you very much. I laugh. Most of those people you see like that, majority of them live above their means. When I was in the banking industry, there was a lady that was serving. The name is Sumbo. I can't forget her. I've lost contact with her now for a long time. Every a banker, most of them, they are always they live above their means. I'm sorry to use that language. Majority of them would have bought so many things they don't need. And when they bring it to the bank, something that is 5,000, they sell it for you 20,000. And you see them, they will buy this, they will buy that, they will buy this, they will buy that. The lady will say, that they will always tell her, that she's too local. That okay, I agree to be local than living above my means. So you discover most of those are friends that say she's local. By the time salary comes, they will be down. Why? What they have bought, most of the time will always be more than what the salary is. So it is people who live above their means that are always having that problem. I was shocked when you were asking that question from Dr. Samuel, that how can someone plan, what would someone plan on? Is it on resources or on need? Whoever plans on need is a senseless investor. You are planning on 500,000 and you know what is coming to your account is 100,000. So how do you fund the remaining 400,000? And that is why you need to plan on your resources. It is 50,000 that are coming. Is that how you plan on that 50,000 or you plan below 50,000? It's nonsensical that it's 100,000 that's coming to your account and you are planning for 500,000. That means you want to see the remaining 400,000. So people who are always very sad when they get their salaries, they are people who always live above their means, who always want to show that they have arrived when in fact they have not. If you live below your means, you will not be sad when your salary comes in. So it is people who live above their means that are always complaining. And my advice is always try as much as possible to cut your coat according to your size. You know what is coming to you is 100,000. Plan for that 100,000 or plan for less. It is stupidity. That is stupidity for someone who knows it is 100,000 that is coming to his account and is planning on 500,000. That means he's going to save 400,000. So a wise investor must plan according to his means. And a salary earner should always not be sad. If you don't go beyond your level, there's no reason why you will be sad. Those who are earning 20,000 today, and those who are earning 100,000, and those who are earning 500,000, we go to the same market. And if we believe we go to the same market, then cut your coat according to your side, so that by the time the salary comes, you will not be sad because what is coming to your account is less than what you are owed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Yeah, you should cut your coat according to your fabric.
According to your fabric. Thank
So
you.
Samuel, please stay on this. Sometimes we tell people cut your coat according to your fabric, according to your material and all that. But some bills are overwhelming. When it's time to pay school fees, the salary is not sufficient to pay bills. In so many states now, they are not paying salary. Some states, their salary reduced percentage are being paid. School fees are to be paid. Housing are to be paid. The children will eat. Okay, cut your coat, you will not even buy clothes. But what about those necessities? When the bills are overwhelming, how do we handle our finances? Pastor Samuel.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I will let me take it from where Pastor Oluwalere, Mr. Oluwalere is talking. You see, when your take home cannot take you home, definitely you'll be sad when you are getting the take home.
Yeah.
But that does not mean. Can you hear me?
Clearly.
Okay, good. Okay. When your take home cannot take you home, definitely when the take home is coming, you will be sad. But that does not mean you are not cutting your coats according to your cloth. When each time you are getting paid and you are sad, it doesn't mean you have overspent. It doesn't mean that you have not been prudent. But because of the situation, the economic situation of the country, what you are getting does not take you anywhere. And when you are seeing it, take for instance, you have 2 kids with the wife and yourself making 4, and your take home is 50,000 naira, and your 2 kids are in school, and they are your wife, maybe there's no job, you are the only one working and all that. You see, there's no way when the 50,000 and you don't have a car, you need to transport yourself from Ikorodu to VI, and you are spending maybe like 1,000 naira every day, and you have to go because there's no alternative. When the money is coming, definitely you decide. It doesn't mean that you've done beyond, you've spent beyond what you are, but because the take home cannot take you home, definitely you'll be sad. What you can do in such case is for you to, when you get the take home, you know that being sad cannot solve that problem at that point in time. What you can do, what I will advise people to do is that when you get the take home, when you get the pay, what you can do is that you budget and you manage it in such a way that at least you touch everything that needs to be touched. You might not touch them 100%. Maybe you have a school fees of maybe 60,000 naira to pay, and your take home is 50,000. Yes, even if you put the whole thing on the school fees, it cannot settle it. What I will advise people to do is just out of the 50,000, save and take out of it and sort those needs little by little. You sort them little by little. You've touched them, but you've not totally settled the bill. But when you sort them little by little, and in the coming month you sort them little by little, you find out that yes, that will help. You know that okay, I've not settled them to 100%, but I've touched them. So at times it is not because one had overspent or one has gone beyond the that's why. No, it's because the take home is not taking you home, cannot be sufficient to help you throughout the month. So definitely you will be sad. You definitely will be sad. Yes, and when we say that people should cut their clothes, you see, cut their clothes according to whatever. You see, the truth is that what they're saying in essence is just do the best that you can do. Don't do more than what your income can carry. Don't do more than what your income can carry. If your income can only carry a single room, maybe a face me and face you room, if that's what you can carry, just go for that, and you find that gradually when your income is improving, then you can also go. How do I put it now? You can also go do more than, get a better thing. But when your income cannot carry maybe a room and parlor self-contained, but you are going for 2-bedroom flats, then you are doing beyond what you need to do. You are doing beyond what you need to do. And if you can cut your coat according to your clothes. The person that is earning 200,000 and the person that is earning 50,000, they are all buying from the same market. But what they are buying can be different. What they are buying can be different. The person that's earning 200,000 can go to my 12 market and buy fresh tomatoes. And buy fresh tomatoes and maybe fresh tomatoes and buy fresh tomatoes of maybe 2,000 naira for a bowl. But he that is earning 50,000 should not buy that same thing that he that is earning 200,000 is buying. If you know that your budget, what you are earning, cannot carry fresh tomato of 200,000, you go for the one they call a shark. You go for the one they call a shark and buy the same bowl for probably maybe 500 or 300 naira. You will still use it to cook the same soup. So what are we saying is that we can cut our costs according to our clothes based on what we are getting. Based on what we are getting. So if you are doing that, you won't be sad when we are receiving this. You know that, my income cannot carry fresh tomatoes. You go for a shot and your income can carry. So when you are doing that, you find that you won't be sad. You plan it according to what your person can carry. So that whether you buy this or you buy the shot, that does not mean that income is still enough. It doesn't mean the income is still enough, but you are trying to manage it to manage it in such a way that you will still get the same thing. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. You try to manage such a way that you still cook what you need to cook, but what you are using to cook it might be different. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. I want to stay with you on this last one. That's your advice to people regards the other time you said that we can control or determine our income. And we can say that every other thing here boils down to our resources. So for us, what are those things that one can do to control one's income? Because when the bills are overwhelming, then something has to be done to the income. What are those things that we can do to influence or to push up the income so that at least to an extent we can meet up with overwhelming bills?
Okay, thank you very much, ma'am. You see, when the bills that you are getting is overwhelming and your income cannot carry it, there are so many things that one can do. You can look for something to invest on that will give you daily income. If you can do that, then that will cushion whatever thing that you are getting maybe at the end of the month or something. Take for instance, someone that is a teacher. You are teaching and you are earning maybe 70,000 naira at the end of the month, and after that, and you have bills. You have bills to pay, you have the NEPA bill, you have water rates, you have security bills, you need to pay for this, you need to pay for that. And those are the essential. There's no way you can do it. You just have to pay. You have to pay them. And by the time you hide all these things together, it's even close or more than what you are doing. for you that is a teacher, you can go for extra, you can look for people to teach, go for extra lesson. By the time you do that, you get more income, and whatever income that you get will settle with you pushing or help in settling one or two of the bills that you are when we talk about, there are some investment there are some things that you can invest in, and then they might not bring immediate income. When you invest in some things, it might be future, you are investing for the future. At times, but in that case, you need to invest on things that will bring you immediate income. That will bring you the immediate income, that will bring you. So when you are controlling your finances, you know what you are earning, then you can as well. That's why you find that some people, after when they get, they'll buy what's it called, Okada, motorcycle, and they will be collecting daily returns. They will collecting daily returns. You find out that some people that works in the bank, that works in the corporate environment, by the time they are going to work in the morning, they have their cars. By the time they are going to work in the morning, they pick passengers and they drop them, maybe from K2 or from anywhere. They pick passengers that are going to VI. They pick them. They collect maybe 300 or 500 naira. They collect. At the end of the day, use that, you see, to fuel their car. That is a way of managing, controlling your income. If they do that, you find out that what they are getting, if they collect, take for instance, what they take passenger, they take 4 passengers at the rate of maybe 400 naira from K2 to VI. That's 1,600, and that will be sufficient to fuel the car. And when they are coming again, they do another 1,600. You see, that will be sufficient to fuel the car. They can just be using that to maintain the car. There are some people that work in the corporate environment. They register their cars with Uber, and when they are on break, lunch break, they run their app, and they do some of these Uber runs. They use it to maintain their car. So that is an extra income. That is a way of pushing, of helping to do, I mean, how do I put it now? To solve some of the issues that might come on at the end of the month, because maybe your income cannot carry it. So with so doing, you find out that you'll be able to resolve the issue of settling some overwhelming bills. So you can look for a way of generating. When you want to do that, you look for a way, an investment, that you look for something that will generate a daily income for you. That's what can help. But if you invest on a business that will give you a future income, then you are not helping matters. You look for an income. You look for an investment that will give you that will generate a daily income for you. That is why you find some places, they are working in the office. They still go. They sell chin-chin. They sell plantain chips and all that. It's just to settle some bills. This will help in settling some bills. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. That was awesome. Trying to expand our means of increasing our income. That's where we're going to stop today. So on that note, I want you to give us your final note to our viewers, how to manage your finance. So I'm going to start from Dr. Samuel. Your final note, your final advice to people on managing your finance. Dr. Samuel? You're muted.
Thank you very much. Yes, I'm with you. I just want to tell our viewers that people only get impressed by your result. Not at all. Can you?
Loud and clear.
Hello?
We can hear you, sir. No, we can not hear you again.
Hello? Can you hear me now?
We cannot hear you.
Yes. I just want
now we can hear you.
the viewer at home that people don't get impressed when you try to impress them. They- Okay, can you hear me now, please? Hello?
Clearly.
Yes, please. Yes, we can hear you, sir.
People don't get impressed by you trying to impress them. They only get impressed with your result. So what you should put to play is the ability for you to save your finances. And this involves you not doing more than your capability and your capacity.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. So I'm going to Mr. Oluwalere, sir, your final notes on managing your finance to our viewers at home. Mr. Oluwalere, sir.
Thank you very much. My advice to our viewers this evening is that don't be an imitator. Don't pretend. Cut your coat according to your size. Don't say, this is my colleague, is buying this, I must have to buy it. You don't know his source of income. You don't know whether he has some dependent relatives that is funding it. You don't know whether he's stealing. You don't know whether he engaged in some dirty deeds. Cut your coat according to your size. If you know your income is this, don't live above your income. Limit your income and do not engage in impulsive, don't have an impulsive behavior whereby whatever you see, you rush into it and you buy it. No. Be careful. Have a kind of financial planning. Don't say people are looking at me. Just be yourself. Don't be another person's life. Don't live another person's life. Live your own life. Live your life at a time. Live below your means. Don't live above your means. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Don't live above your means. Live below your means and don't compete with others. Thank you so much, sir. First, Samuel, do your final word.
Yeah, my final word to manage your finances is whatever you are getting, you can plan with it. Whatever income that you are getting, you should know that you can plan with it. Just whatever thing you get, plan with it. And when your income increases, then whatever you cannot do when you are getting a low income, you can do when you will be able to do it when your income increases. So whatever you are getting at all, make sure you save some percentage. You save some percentage of it and plan your expenses. Plan whatever you want to do around what you earn. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And thank you for on the show today again. In summary, I'm just going to put this out to us that we should minimize our expenses and keep our expenses at the barest minimum. We're made to understand that you don't want to overspend. You need a budget if you don't want to overspend. And so whatever is not your budget should be pushed to the next level to avoid compulsive or impulsive spending. Also, that we should avoid carrying money you don't have. Avoid carrying money you don't need. Don't just carry cash about. If the money is with you, you definitely see something to use it. So be financially prudent and be rational in your buying. The implication of having bills is because your income is less compared to your expenses. So by so doing, we should plan on our resources, not on our needs. Then we can satisfy our needs. We cannot satisfy our needs. But we're also made to understand that people don't get impressed by impressing them. They get impressed by your results. So don't compete yourself with others. Don't live above your means, so you can plan with what you have. And on this note, we are going to draw the curtain on the show today. Let's do this again next week. Take it to IMT where it is season hot, interacting and transforming. Don't forget to share, like, and make the comments on the show. If you're watching the replay, to see you again on another episode of Women's Talk, where it is season of interactive and transforming. Good night, viewers. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night,
Dr.
everyone.
Samuel.
Good night.
Good night.
I enjoy the weekend.